Prince Harry's quiet but powerful commitment to young people in the UK has once again come into sharp focus, and this time it is not about speeches, titles or headlines driven by controversy. It is about action, real action, deeply personal action. The revelation of Harry's enormous personal donations to the community recording studio in Nottingham tells a story that the loudest critics conveniently ignore. A story of consistency, loyalty and belief in the potential of young people who are so often overlooked. For more than a decade, Prince Harry has been supporting the community recording studio known as CRS, a youth centre rooted in the heart of Nottingham. Since April 2013, long before his marriage to Meghan Markle, long before stepping back from royal duties, long before the media narrative hardened against him, Harry was already there, listening, learning, supporting, showing up. This is important because it completely dismantles the idea that Harry's philanthropy is performative or reactive. This is not a one-off donation made for optics. This is a relationship that spans over 10 years, built on trust, mutual respect and a shared belief in what young people can achieve when given the right tools and opportunities. The community recording studio has operated out of a dilapidated building for more than 30 years. Despite limited resources, it has become a sanctuary for creativity, self-expression and healing for young people affected by violence and social inequality. It is not glamorous, it is not polished, but it is real, and Harry saw that. According to reports, Prince Harry donated £1.1 million of his own money to Children in Need projects in Nottingham that support young people affected by violence. Let that sink in. His own money, not royal funds, not taxpayer support, not a symbolic contribution, a deeply personal financial commitment. At a time when critics constantly accuse Harry of abandoning the UK, this contribution tells a very different story. You do not invest that level of personal wealth into a community you do not care about. You do not support a project for over a decade if your heart is not in it. You do not help replace an old, crumbling building with the vision of a film school if you are disconnected or indifferent. Trevor Rose, the founder and chief executive of CRS, was clear about the impact of Harry's support. He said that the Duke's personal contribution would make a huge difference. Not a small boost, not a symbolic gesture, a huge difference. Rose explained that Harry has known the organisation for over 10 years. He has seen the work. He has seen the young people grow. He has seen the challenges they face. And because of that long-standing relationship, Harry was able to say, "I am willing to do this. I believe in you. I trust you." That kind of support cannot be faked. What is especially powerful is what CRS hopes to build next. The charity has shared plans to open a film school. A film school in St Anne's, run by young people, supported by the community, designed to turn dreams into tangible skills and careers. Trevor Rose described the vision as ambitious, and it is. But ambition is exactly what has been missing from conversations about deprived communities for far too long. Too often, expectations are lowered. Too often, young people are told to be realistic, which is another way of saying, do not dream too big. Harry's support challenges that narrative. Rose said that all of the things kids have said they have seen on TV could become a reality right there in St Anne's. That is transformative thinking. That is empowerment. That is saying your postcode does not define your potential. And let us talk about why this matters so much to Prince Harry. Harry has spoken openly about trauma, loss and the need for safe spaces. He understands what it means to be a young person carrying pain that the world does not always see. He understands the power of creativity as an outlet, as a form of healing, and as a path forward. A community recording studio is not just about music or film. It's about giving young people a voice when they feel unheard. This aligns perfectly with the work Harry and Meghan have been doing through Archewell. Their focus has always been on impact, not image, on mental health, not performative charity, on long-term solutions, not quick fixes. It is also worth noting that Harry visited the community recording studio in September last year during a trip to the UK. This was not a heavily publicised visit. It did not dominate headlines. It was quiet, intentional and meaningful. That tells you everything you need to know. The studio has become synonymous with creativity, possibility and transformation. Those words are not accidental. They reflect the environment that has been built there over decades, often with limited recognition and support. Harry saw that, and instead of walking away, he leaned in. Critics love to say that Harry turned his back on Britain. Stories like this prove the opposite. What Harry turned his back on was an institution that could not guarantee his family's safety or respect his boundaries. What he did not turn his back on was community, compassion and responsibility. And let us be very clear, Meghan Markle deserves to be part of this conversation too. While this specific donation is Harry's, the values behind it are shared. Meghan has consistently championed youth empowerment, storytelling and access to creative platforms. The idea of a film school run by young people aligns beautifully with Meghan's belief in representation and narrative control. Together, Harry and Meghan have been redefining what modern philanthropy looks like. It is not about cutting ribbons or attending endless galas. It is about sustained involvement, listening to communities and investing in their visions rather than imposing your own. The fact that Harry's donation went through Children in Need projects also matters. This is a respected organisation with accountability and transparency. It shows that Harry is thoughtful about how his money is used and who it reaches. There is also something deeply symbolic about supporting young people affected by violence. Violence is often a symptom of deeper systemic issues: poverty, lack of opportunity, marginalisation. By funding creative spaces and educational pathways, Harry is addressing root causes, not just symptoms. This is the kind of work that does not generate flashy headlines, but it changes lives. It creates ripple effects that last for generations. A young person who finds their voice in a recording studio today could become a filmmaker, a mentor, a leader tomorrow. Trevor Rose's words about Harry recognising and seeing the work over the years are crucial. Harry did not swoop in with a cheque and disappear. He watched. He learned. He respected the process. That is what ethical philanthropy looks like. It also exposes the hypocrisy of those who claim Harry only cares about himself. Selfish people do not commit over £1 million to youth projects. Selfish people do not maintain decade-long relationships with grassroots organisations. Selfish people do not invest in communities without demanding control or credit. The community recording studio story is a reminder of who Prince Harry has always been at his core. A man shaped by privilege, yes, but also by empathy. A man who understands that real change happens far away from palace walls and press briefings. And for the Sussex squaddies, this is exactly why support for Harry and Meghan remains so strong. Because beneath all the noise, the lawsuits, the commentary, the endless speculation, there is a consistent thread of values-driven action. This story also highlights something else. Harry's connection to the UK has not been severed. It has been reshaped. It now exists through community, not crown, through people, not protocol. As the community recording studio looks ahead to replacing its old building and opening a film school, Harry's contribution will be part of that foundation. Not as a figurehead, but as someone who believed when it mattered. In a world obsessed with tearing down Harry and Meghan, stories like this ground us in reality. They remind us that impact is not always loud. Sometimes it is steady. Sometimes it is patient. Sometimes it takes 10 years to fully reveal itself. Prince Harry's enormous personal donations are not just about money. They are about faith in young people. Faith in creativity. Faith in the idea that with the right support, communities can transform themselves. And that is a legacy worth talking about.